In this video, I want to talk about how Coinbase might be one of the most undervalued stocks in the entire stock market and how it became quickly one of my biggest positions in my entire portfolio. Hey guys, it's Tanner Manson from Future Investing, and today I want to talk to you guys about Coinbase stock, ticker symbol COIN. Now, this video is more like additional information on the things that I really look at that are extremely positive for Coinbase. This is not actually talking about what they do or all their processes or how they plan on growing customers. If you want to see my full breakdown on Coinbase, you can see it here, or I'll put a link in the description down below. But before we jump into all the fun, crazy details of Coinbase and how it might be one of the most undervalued stocks, first, I have to let you know that although I am actually a licensed financial security advisor as my full-time job, none of these stocks or topics that we talk about today are in any way my recommendation. This is merely my opinion, and you can choose to do what you wish with this information. Now, if you could, hit the like button down below. It really helps out the channel, and subscribe down below if you want to see more financial content just like this. So first off, Coinbase is valued at a $65 billion market cap, or a $250 share price as of recording this video. And actually, whenever I wrote down, the actual idea for the video, like about 2 to 3 days ago, it was actually about like a $225 stock, which was another like 10% that I actually, whenever I originally doubled down on my investment, that's already a 10 to 12% that I've already made. But there's still so much upside to this company. And I mean, really, we'll go over the numbers to show you. But even now, it's already starting to explode just within the last couple of days because Bitcoin prices are rising like crazy. And by the way, with that valuation, they have a price to earnings ratio, which is how much money they make versus how much money they're actually being valued at an 18 times price to earnings ratio, okay? And yet forward price to earnings ratios, okay? This means next year, how much they're going to make next year. So what the forward price to earnings ratio on a growing company should be lower, right? Because they're going to be making more money, and that amount of years that it'll take to make up their market cap should be lower. For Coinbase, it's 41 times, which means that analysts that write these predictions are actually expecting Coinbase's amount of money that they're going to make on profit to go down. That hasn't happened in the history of Coinbase being a company, but okay, whatever. Let's talk about what they did in Q2 with the estimates for how much they were going to make, or earnings per share, to what actually happened versus what's going to happen next quarter. So for Q2 of 2021, the earnings per share estimate was $2.33. What actually happened was a $6.42 actual earnings per share, which was almost triple amount of what, Wall Street was actually predicting. Okay. And now yet, even though they got blown out of the water and Coinbase is just making absolute spectacular amounts of money with how much they're actually transacting on their platform, for Q3 next quarter, Wall Street is predicting $1.43 that quarter in earnings per share. So less than they predicted last quarter, even though we almost tripled it. I personally, whenever you look at the price of, Bitcoin from Q2 to the price of Bitcoin in Q3, and not including all the altcoins that have done spectacularly well during the next quarter, that I cannot see how they would possibly ever think that they would make less money. Prices of Bitcoin on average are up this quarter, okay? The price of crypto, the top 200 cryptos are up this quarter compared to Q2. That's not including all the different custody fees, all the onboarding for institutional investors or anything like that, and them holding their currencies, new existing customers for which they've been growing at such an amazing scale, and yet somehow Wall Street is predicting worse earnings. This is what I'm talking about the grand scale of undervaluation in this company. And I'm going to continue, and I'm going to point out every single point in this company. Let's go to cash and their debts. Nice balance sheet here with their cash being at $4.4 billion and their debts being at $1.9 billion. Okay, so very, very positive in the cash side. And you know what? They continue to put a lot of their money back into actually holding their own crypto, right? I mean, if you're bullish enough to create your own exchange, you're probably bullish enough to actually hold those cryptos on your balance sheet yourself. Not to mention, like I put in my last video talking about whether to hold Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, there are real crypto experts on the actual, employment of Coinbase. If there's someone that follows the exact news of every single altcoin that is out there, it's definitely the people that work at Coinbase. Well, I mean, they're obviously going to know more than me as just a regular retail investor that mainly follows stocks. So not only am I buying into a Coinbase and trying to make a lot of money on the exchange, but I'm also making money off the expertise of what they're bringing me to the crypto markets. And I'm not even a huge cryptocurrency person. I'm following the trends, and statistics do not lie. Look at Coinbase's user growth just from Q1 of 2021 to Q2 of 2021. This is a 3-month difference of 56 million users to 68 million users. That's a 21.5% increase on their entire customer base in the matter of 3 months. And that's not the only statistic that's really driving me, okay? So look at this. So I actually have to just read this out because this is statistics overload. So their monthly transacting users, okay, this is from Q2 of 2020, was 1.5 million users, okay? Q2 of 2021, 1 year later, 8.8 million. That's a year-over-year growth of 487%, okay? Trading volume. How many people are going back and forth on, buying and selling Bitcoin and all these different altcoins? In Q2 of 2020, 28 billion. Q2 of 2021, 462 billion. That's an increase of 1,550%. What about their assets on platform, okay? How many assets are actually held on Coinbase's actual, exchange? In Q2 of 2020, $26 billion. Q2 of 2021, $180 billion, an increase of 592%. These are insane growth numbers that you do not see in any companies that are trading over $1 billion, let alone trading at PE ratios that are under 20, at about 18 times. And just to put 18 times into perspective, okay, which can compare actually to a lot of just regular banks trading a currency that goes down over time versus a currency like Bitcoin, which the average annual return of Bitcoin is 891% year over year. That's the average return since it's been out. Actually, sorry, 2011 to 2020. Now, I'm not even hoping that Bitcoin grows 891% this year, okay? I don't even think it'll happen. What if it grows 20% this year? What if it grows 40% this year? Okay, something that would be way underperforming as the asset that it has been so far, and yet it would still be way outperforming the stock market. Okay, and that doesn't even include this company that is also growing. So you take a super leveraged type of asset like Bitcoin and you add it onto a super leveraged type of company. You should get a company that has such an explosive amount of growth and what I think should have a PE ratio of something like 200, 300, 400 times, and yet people are pricing it as a measly 18 times price to earnings ratio as if it was a regular financial institution trading US dollars. Doesn't make any sense to me. In fact, a 18 times price to earnings ratio is so much under the actual S&P 500, looking at the actual S&P 500's PE ratio at today 33.5 times. That's the average, okay? That includes all the cigarette companies, all the oil companies, all these companies that slowly over time are actually getting smaller and smaller. And yet a company like a crypto exchange, which is growing at such an crazy scale, is being priced as if it was something like a cigarette or an oil company. And trust me, I understand why. I know that legislation in this space and regulation in the crypto markets is an insanely uncertain, crazy gray area. The truth is though, and I think a huge reason why the Federal Reserve is also saying that they have no intention to ban crypto markets is that they could see this as being a potential $2 trillion market, that because China already banned it, that this could be a thing that the United States sort of takes on as their own and they tax it for themselves. That's a massive asset that China is blocking themselves out of and not taking any part in the revenue in Bitcoin. I don't think that there'll ever be a time where they hold it on their balance sheet or something like this, but what I am saying is that them having this currency transacted in their, in their country is a part of something that you can tax. So yes, there is that legislation and regulation problems, but I do not think the government is going to, have any problems with that. China and the US act very differently whenever it comes to actual regulation on things like this. For example, the internet. This was a huge problem for the US, but we still didn't ban it out of existence like China did, banning things like Google, Facebook, Amazon, WhatsApp. They made their own versions of all these things, and it's exactly what they're going to do with Bitcoin. They're just going to create their own digital yen and continue to, have a government stake in everything that's in that country. Because that's a real thing that China does that the United States doesn't really do. The Communist Party in China practically has some form of ownership in all of their public companies that they have on the stock markets. Now, I do agree with what some people say that, Coinbase, if there ever was any regulations like this, that they would be way more harmful to hold Coinbase than it would actually be, the Bitcoin currency, because it's a publicly traded company. You can't really hide it like you could an actual Bitcoin token. But I guess that's the risk that I'm willing to take whenever this currency blew up so fast. Like, for example, I'm betting on the most successful asset class of all time. That's what really Bitcoin was. You remember this currency at first was just a thing for hackers, okay? And then it became a thing just for the regular average, internet enthusiast. And then it became a thing for the, regular retail investors. Then it became a thing for small businesses, then large businesses like Tesla. And now it's becoming a thing for small countries. And now they're talking about becoming a thing for large countries. So first off, El Salvador, population 6.5 million. Then Ukraine talked about it, population of 44 million. Now Brazil is talking about legalizing the actual currency at 212 million person population is now being exposed to the idea of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Coinbase does not even have that heavy of an international presence yet, and the business alone is going to continue to grow while the actual underlying security or commodity or whatever you want to call Bitcoin at this current time is growing like crazy. The most bearish estimate for this company right now puts it at a price target of $220, which before, whenever I wanted to make it at like $225, it was practically there. Now, even at $250, negative 12%, okay? Versus the average price target of $377, which is positive 50.8%. That would be your upside. Okay, then the most bullish person, which is probably sort of where I lean, where if Bitcoin does anything like what it's done previous years, that the highest, Wall Street analyst pins it at $743 a share, or an increase on the stock right now of 197%. These are Wall Street investors too, people that are very critical of Bitcoin, and I'm sure the guy that pinned this at $743 is not, but the person who pinned at $220 is, and even then they don't see it going down that much, probably because of just the amount of institutional data and all these things that they've brought into this company that grows the company faster than just the actual coin. Whenever you buy Bitcoin, you do not get Coinbase Cloud, what people are calling the AWS of crypto, and what they think that'll actually be bigger than their actual exchange itself. All these other things like transactional fees, custody fees, Coinbase card, financing, and all different ways that, like financial institutions today start to make money, you can now do this with just a new currency. This is such an incredible thing. I don't even know how people do not see this as maybe one of the most exciting stocks on the stock market today. And I feel like with this company, with a price to earnings ratio of only 17 times, I feel like every other company that has Bitcoin on their balance sheets are having price to earnings ratios in the hundreds. You look at Tesla, 400 times, Square, 200 times, MicroStrategies, which they have a forward P ratio of 100 times. They're not profitable, this quarter, so we don't actually see it, but their forward P ratio, and practically the only thing that people are betting on is that they have the largest Bitcoin balance sheet that any public company does. And yet the company that's actually responsible for exchanging all these cryptocurrencies and is actually probably the biggest benefactor of cryptocurrencies going up is trading at 1/8 the price of all these other, public companies with just regular Bitcoin on their balance sheets. It's incredibly silly to me how people are valuing this company. I think there's a reason why Cathie Wood has now quickly made it her third biggest holding. It's also my third biggest holding. She was buying it at $400 a share all the way till now. Okay, I never even bought that high because I wasn't as, bullish on crypto, and I don't even know how I feel about it in general. But I know that my upside versus my downside here, this is not like betting on a casino. This is like betting on, a roulette wheel where 99 out of the 100 rings are black and one of them's red. That's how I feel right now. I've got a downside of 12% and an upside of 200%. What are we talking about? This is what I'm talking about with this crazy company. But regardless, it's going to be a fun ride either way. I think there's going to be a huge bull run for Bitcoin going forward. We're already seeing in the last, 2 weeks how Bitcoin has just skyrocketed. And I think by the end of the year, it's probably going to be in the, in a space like $80,000 a coin. And with a CEO like Brian Armstrong, this very young, very hungry, mega successful CEO, I'm very happy that this company is in his very capable hands. I don't know. The people are just not seeing what I'm seeing, I guess. Wall Street is predicting a less exciting quarter in Q3 than there was Q2, and yet we tripled the amount that they thought for Q2, and yet that's not actually influencing their decision at all. I think we're going to do a better quarter than Q2, and we did $6.40. I think we're going to get an $8, earnings per share quarter in Q3, and they're predicting, $1.50. And I think whenever that happens, whenever we see the next quarter results, and I don't expect our, 1,000% changes in the amount of trading volumes or anything like this. But if we see any triple digit results of 100% more year over year, or anything like this on trading volumes, on assets on platform, or monthly transacting users, this stock is going to go up. It's going to go up a lot. This company has to perform 1/10 of how good it did last year for it to do unbelievably great going forward. And please, in this video, I really need your comments. Tell me down below, every single last one of you, how you feel about this company if you're watching this today, okay? I need to know, are you bullish on this stock? What am I missing? What are the red flags? Everything like this. I know that there's some red flags in terms of competition, with other places like Kraken, for example, that offer way lower actual transaction fees than Coinbase, but I also think that Coinbase has made such a name for itself that it's the trusted place to go for these types of cryptocurrencies. That or Binance. Those are really the two main ones that I look at. I don't know. I'm just so excited about this company. Please comment down below. I even love the ticker symbol, coin, so easy to remember. There's actually a study that I read about talking about, ticker symbols that are actually just easy to remember actually perform better. I just think every little detail in this company is just so perfect. Not perfect, but unbelievably great for how poorly it's being valued right now. People are just thinking it's going to have a terrible quarter. I don't see how. Bitcoin's having a run right now. I think it's going to continue. Bitcoin goes in those waves of ups and downs and ups and downs. And after the 50% cut that it had a couple months ago, I think we're destined to have another one possibly hit a new record high. And when that happens, Coinbase is going to be a massive benefactor to, the price of these cryptocurrencies. And even though Bitcoin's not moving a lot, the altcoins are, but we benefit on all of them. If Ethereum moves, Coinbase moves. If Cardano moves, Coinbase moves. If Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or any of these coins move, Coinbase is also going to move on those, those profits. Aside from regulation or legislation, and please tell me if I'm missing something, but if those things don't absolutely butcher Coinbase, I don't see how I get this wrong. I think that's what Cathie Wood sees too. Anyways, if you guys like the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Like I said, comment down below anything that you guys would like to know or have any questions or concerns or anything about the company. I need to read everything I can on this company because it's been a massive change in my portfolio. Definitely the thing that I've been pouring most of my money into, that and skills, because it just keeps dropping. Can't help myself. So anyway, thanks so much. Subscribe down below. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay safe trading. Talk to you guys later. Bye now.